Building Highly Functioning Data Teams, a look into the PLCs in the Platte County R3 School District, created by Jennifer Morlock for ED 608, spring to semester of 2016 at Park University. Accumulated from surveys, interviews, and observations, I found the following to be the strengths and weaknesses of the data teams at the middle school level. Creating Psychological Safety. In a 2002 article by Edmondson, the following is stated: lack of psychological safety can create roadblocks to team goals, low trust equals low contribution, and when present, teams can meet and exceed goals and discussions are richer. In our district, we have 2 middle schools. Both schools on their own appear to have psychological safety. The teachers work very well at the individual schools, talking openly, sharing ideas, listening to everyone and their opinions and suggestions. When the schools collaborate as a district, this is not the case. Teachers do not feel open to share their opinions as they feel they are not listened to. Because of this, the schools individually are successful at setting and reaching goals, but as a district, we are not there. In an article about effective learning communities, Rebecca Tyson also focuses on how to make a PLC highly effective. According to Tyson's study in 2015, there are 3 things that have the greatest effect on the successfulness of PLCs: the provision of school-based professional development on PLCs, existing school practices, and a school culture focused on collaboration, and the readiness of school leaders and the communication of expectation by school leaders for PLC work. My first recommendation to make highly successful data teams in the Platte County R3 School District is to create psychological safety. We need to have sufficient leadership on every team to facilitate and make sure norms are being followed. Leaders should be adequately trained in how to facilitate a successful data team and/or PLC. When no person is nominated or appointed a leader when a team begins, there is no one to make sure all opinions are being listened to and make sure that all members feel comfortable sharing their opinions. The we is stronger than the me, and not all teams are successfully following that logic. A leader must be a person that is good at keeping people focused on what is important, but will not dismiss or override the team's ideas. While I do believe that some teams have effective leaders, not all of the teams in the Platte County R3 School District do, and this is an area we should look into. My second recommendation is to make clear district-wide expectations and language from administrators to teachers across grade levels and contents. According to an article entitled Setting the Record Straight on High-Yield Strategies by Robert J. Marzano, he says that the number one thing a district must do in order to successfully use best practices is to develop a common language. The second thing is to make sure that common language is used in all areas of the school, both discussion and feedback. I believe that data teams and PLCs are definitely a best practice, but for them to do what they are intended, we must have a common language. What is a unit to one group might be a chapter to another. What is an assessment to one group might not be considered one for another. Along with this, there must be clear expectations. We see a lot of differences between teams, not because they have different expectations, but because the understanding of those expectations is different between administrators and teachers. If we have a clear and consistent language, that would help to be able to create clearer expectations. Through my CAP project, I was able to really look in depth at how data teams and PLCs work. I was able to find that even though our data teams at Platte County are not highly successful, we are on the right track. Some of the people from other districts that I have interviewed either do not have data teams at all or are not at the point where we are. When beginning my project, I was under the impression that we were behind. I do not believe that to be true anymore. I now believe that we just have some work to do. Every district is at their own point, some ahead of others, some behind, but there is always progress to make. My goal for the next year is to really start on the right path. There are plans to meet over the summer to get things rolling for my team specifically, and I believe if we can just start fresh, things will go better. I would like to have a clear plan for common assessments and data before the school year begins. I would like for us to stick to that plan for the entire year. After each common assessment and data discussion, we need to make any necessary changes for the following year. I believe if we do that throughout the year, changes will be more successful as what we need to do will be fresh in our minds. For the second year, I would like for the common assessment and data collection to be created and standard. By the third year, I would hope that we have a pretty solid system. As always in education, there will need to be adjustments made, but if we can minimize that, we should be more successful. Another 3-year plan I think would be helpful for the district is to gather the team leaders and look at what helps each team function and what are its challenges. We could use the first year to come up with suggestions. The second year can be used to start implementing those suggestions and see what works overall and what does not. The third year, we could finalize expectations, but leave open to modifications. I would like to become a leader in the area of district assessment. I knew that I had a passion for curriculum, but specifically common assessment and data teams have become something I really feel strongly about. I would like to continue reading and researching how to make assessments more successful, and I would like to help with the team that I suggested previously for data teams. I am excited at how the CAP project has opened my eyes to the process, and I look forward to using what I have learned thus far and what I will learn in the future. Thank you for listening.